Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Simply Done Concierge. Folks, again, when you need to be in three places at one time, Mary and her team at Simply Done Concierge can help you. Whether you need errand running, dog sitting, meal prep, packing, unpacking, all kinds of things that you need done, and a lot of things you just don't want to do, Mary and her team will do that. If you'll go to simplydoneconcierge.com, tell Mary what you're looking for, she'll be able to help. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle of Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the surrounding towns. We have 33 chapters that meet each week, around 600 and I think 15 members or so. Our job is to help each other grow our businesses. And our local small business success story this week is Brent Brandow with Professional Restoration Services. Brent is the business development manager there. He is also in Apex Business Builders chapter. They meet Thursdays at 9 a.m. at the Professional Restoration Services offices in Apex. Good morning, Brent. How are you?
Hey Mike, how are you doing?
Doing good. So you're telling me before we came on the air, Monday mornings are a little busy for you guys, huh?
Yeah, that's it's all the businesses, or I guess all the calls that have come in over the weekend, all the things that people don't want to have happen to their home or business
Mm.
that never happens between 9 to 5. We're dealing with that stuff. So this morning I had a couple water losses and a fire. So just getting the guys out to those jobs and making sure that we're taking care of people.
Mm. Now you have one of those seats in B&I that we don't need you until we really,
Right.
really need you, and we are very happy to see you show up. But in the meantime, I always like to talk because obviously the house is the biggest investment most people are going to buy. So before things happen, which we never know when they're going to, like our garbage disposal the other day just decided to stop and water leaked out and I got home and we had one of those water alarms and it was beeping and good to know. But I had no, first of all, I can barely fix breakfast, so I can't fix any machines. So I had no idea it was about ready to go out. So if we want to try to not really get ahead of things, but just kind of get a look at what our house is like, what are a couple things we can do?
Sure. I mean, for us, we don't want people to have to call us. Like it's,
Mm.
we're happy to be there when someone needs us, but you know, we, we're all local folks. We don't want anybody to have problems that come along with home ownership. So a few things just that we see regularly that I think people can do around the house to protect themselves. First and foremost is knowing where your water shutoff valve is. I can't tell you over the years how many people have called our office. Oh my gosh, there's water everywhere, and we're like, "Would you know where your shutoff is?" And they don't. So take a moment, figure out where that is. There should be one in the house. There's also one probably near the street somewhere. But if you know where those are, that's going to help you at some point in your life. It's going to help you. Some other things too, just we'll see frequently. Ice makers. Ice makers are notorious for causing water damage. Where they connect in the back of the refrigerator, they come with a little plastic nut that attaches to the refrigerator. Go to your Ace Hardware, your Lowe's, your Home Depot, whatever your preference is, and just replace that with a metal nut, and that will save you thousands of dollars of water damage. Ice maker, it's not like this huge flood that comes out of it. It's just a little drip, and it goes on forever and ever and ever. And then all of a sudden, you're in your kitchen and you see your hardwoods are buckling, and you can't figure out where that water's coming from. Pull the refrigerator out, and it's been going on for a while. So that's a quick and easy thing you can do. Um, this job has ruined me. Like I will not leave our home if there's a wash machine running or a dishwasher running. So that it may be a little bit of my paranoia from seeing the worst of the worst. But I don't start a dishwasher and leave my house. I've
Yeah.
I've seen too. I've been on the other end of that phone call too many times where oh my gosh, it's like looking for Noah's Ark in my living room right now. So,
And I assume washing machines fall into the same category for you.
oh yeah, maybe you wouldn't be shocked. I'm shocked at the number of people that will start a wash machine and then just leave.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we had a job. Oh, I guess it was last summer. where we got a phone call that it was a couple were leaving their house, heading to the beach, started their wash machine before they left the house, which to me is
No.
bonkers because
Yeah.
who starts a wash machine and then just leaves wet clothes for a week? But I, I'm not going to get into the whatever that people. I'm sure they make a lot of interesting decisions. But that was one they made that day, and they left, and they had forgotten something. They came back to the house, and they walk in the house. They'd only been gone for 15 minutes. There's water coming through the ceiling, through the candlelights. They had one of those wash machines that's on the second level,
Yeah.
which, as another aside, as someone who works in this industry, I guess I should be thankful that people started putting wash
Mm.
machines on the second floor. But as someone who is also a homeowner, if you have an option, don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't want just a huge thing of water on the second floor because when that floods, it's affecting not just the second floor but also the floor underneath it. So it almost doubles your problem.
Yeah, and I never understood from a builder standpoint why sometimes they put the hot water heater in the attic.
Yeah, it was very popular in the 80s. You see a lot of 80s, 90s homes have the
Mhm.
hot water heater in the attic. Um, if a house is built on a slab, that's kind of their only option. But we see a lot of that where houses built on a slab, so a lot of the plumbing is run through the ceiling, and those lines will leak after a period of time.
Okay, that makes sense. Should we bother to clean out our own dryer vents, or should we call professionals?
Are you talking about the dryer vent that's in your actual dryer?
No, sorry, that hooks to the wall that blows out.
Oh, so those are like the most common scam going on right now. If you're on Facebook, you've seen that like a million times, where it's the what's the little common thing they say like, oh, we're having some financial difficulties right now. Uh, we do free estimates on vent cleaning and duct cleaning. It's not that it doesn't need to be done, but like once every 7 to 10 years, maybe.
Okay.
It's not something that needs to happen yearly. They don't get that dirty. Change like the manufacturer. I'm sure their recommendation is every 30 days around there. If you're changing out that filter, it's not going to be a problem. We sometimes have to deal with that in the event of a fire. If someone has a fire,
Yeah.
the HVAC unit's on, it's pumping smoke and soot throughout the whole house. So in that case, or in some serious water claims, we'll also do that. But just for the regular homeowner, 7 to 10 years is
Okay.
plenty of time.
I
Maybe
always,
not even that often. I mean, it's,
yeah,
it's really not a big deal, but it's
yeah.
we live in a time where it's easy to make people overly concerned, and that's
Mm.
it's low hanging fruit for some folks.
I always enjoy laughing with home services people. We know people use their attic as only a storage unit. They have no idea what's going on up there, and they've never gone up there other than to get, "Hey, honey, is that in the garage or the attic?" And
Mm.
then the other place they don't go is their crawl space.
Oh yeah.
Right. So for the people watching today, they should take a trip up to their attic and look for what?
You just want to make sure the ventilation is good up there. There's that fan in your attic. Make sure that fan is operable and that's working. For us, we're if we're up there, it's because someone suspects a leak coming from the roof, and that's a funky thing. Water travels strangely, so
Mm,
it's not uncommon for us to get a phone call and say, "Hey, I see a water spot on my ceiling. I think my roof is leaking," and for us to go out there and your instinct is it's happening directly above where I'm sitting. That's where the
mm,
water is coming from, and that is almost always not the case. Water will come in, it will hit a beam in your ceiling, travel down that beam, hit another joist, and then start dripping.
mm,
So it's a lot of times we're up there trying to figure out where the leak is coming from. It's also not uncommon, if you live in an older neighborhood, for some water to get in. Maybe the wind is gusting, there's some rain, and it'll travel down a beam and drip somewhere else. And so, I feel like a huge part of our job is going in and figuring out if there is actually a job there. And it's funny, of all the reviews we've got, the ones I'm the most proud of are the ones that we've shown up and said, you don't need us. Because it's a knee jerk as a homeowner. You're thinking it's the worst case scenario, and that's not always the case.
yeah, I always found that a sign of strength is when you talk yourself out of business
Right.
because every one of those places you could have walked in and done something and charged them something and left, and they would not have known if they were scammed or not.
Right, right, and you and I have had this discussion before, I know, but uh, I grew up here. Our owners grew up here. My mom. goes to Food Line to go shopping. I don't want her to bump into one of our clients and they have something negative to say about us. So,
Yep.
and you're right. It's not just us. It's everyone in the home service industry. I mean, you have to you have to hold yourself to a high standard. We work with insurance professionals. We work with facility managers. We're an extension of their team. They're trusting us to do work
Mm.
for them. And so if we go into everything and try to turn it into a job, then they're not going to work with us very long. So
Yep.
it's something we take very
Yep.
seriously.
I always tip a hat to people that like, especially if it's, insurance people, and you hear this all the time from insurance folks. Hey, would just love to look at somebody's policy, maybe a friend of yours, just to make sure they're good. And they look at your friend's policy and they hand it back to them, say, "Yep, I can't beat that. Stay with who
Yeah.
you are. You're in good hands." Like I said, that's a sign of strength for me with people. That tells me something about them. Walking around the outside of the house, anything we can learn?
I think this kind of not to completely derail it, but like when you're on the outside of your house, this is important thing is to know what your insurance covers. Because it's a common thing, especially as it's April showers bring May flowers, right? So there's a lot of rain going on right now. And we'll get calls where people say, "Hey, there's water that has come in from outside." Most times, your insurance isn't going to cover water that's coming from outside. So you want to make sure that your gutters are diverting water away from your house. Make sure your drainage is all properly done. Make sure that however your landscaping is kind of organized in your house, that is not diverting water around the foundation. Because we get calls all the time where there's water in my crawl space. I'm not sure where it's coming from, and it's frequently coming from gutters being misplaced, being um, stopped up. It's not uncommon. Just that's a huge thing is that people forget to clean out their gutters, or they don't want to be on a ladder to clean out their gutters. I mean, I get it. I'm
Mm.
48. I do not get on ladders anymore. Go to BNI, find you a good gutter cleaner.
There you go. I like that. But yeah, gutters is another thing where like, you look up, I assume they're working, nothing's come
Yeah.
attached from the roof. So yeah, good to go. Can I assume that most people that get into your world, restoration services world, get in through a different way that they didn't expect one day they would be in the restoration services world?
I think so. Yeah. So our owners, Kevin and Amy Reiner, I've known them for years. They built homes. They were Reiner homes up until 2008. And
Mm.
2008 happened, and everyone lost their job, and people were scrambling, and no one was building houses anymore. And they had went through a dry spell, and got a phone call one day that said, "Hey, can you guys help us? We had a fire, and we're trying to rebuild. Is that something you do?" And they said, "Sure, sounds like something we could do." And that's kind of how they kind of fell into this, and operated there in both worlds for a little while in restoration and home building, and then about 14ish years ago, switched completely over just to restoration. So that's all we do. But it's an interesting field. It's not something I ever would have thought I would be in. I mean, my background is in corporate communications, sales enablement, sales training, product marketing. But this just kind of fell into my lap in kind of the middle of COVID when I think most people were having some type of midlife crisis about where they wanted to do with their lives. And I love the immediacy of it. I love that there is no, you can't have a meeting to plan a meeting about someone's toilet overflowing. Like it has to happen right then. So I love that I don't put a pin in anything. Like it's time to go. So I love that. And, I've said it before, but I like being part of a team that's there for people when they need you the most. So.
COVID was an interesting time from a business standpoint. It slowed a lot of things down. It affected a lot of lives. But some of the home services people ended up doing okay because for once everybody was at home and they're looking around like, God, these walls are ugly. Let's repaint or let's build a deck or things like
Uh-huh.
that. So they probably started inspecting their house more than they ever had
I
prior to
noticed
that.
it was a lot of contractors getting sought out to put additions onto their home,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I wonder when the whole family was in a house if the walls didn't start to close
Mm,
in a little bit.
yep.
They're like, I think we need more room from each other.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think there were a lot of conversations. Hey, remember that conversation 4 years ago we talked about doing this? Yeah, now's the time to do that.
Yeah, we didn't slow down at all. It was
Yeah,
more
nah,
people at home, more people using the sinks and the toilets and the
yeah.
showers. So we stayed as busy as we've ever been.
Yeah, and then you throw little kids, I mean, who
Oh yeah,
didn't have who didn't did or doesn't have a little kid that threw something in the toilet one day, you're like, "All right, I know how this
cats.
happened." Just don't know what it was, but you know it came from them to stop up the toilet.
We're doing a job right now. We're wrapping it up where a family left in the morning. They'd all gotten ready to get ready for school. Parents got ready for work. They left. And the daughter in her room had a sink where I guess she, I don't know, whatever she does in the morning to get ready, but had the stopper down so that it would collect water.
Ooh.
And cat, their cat, flipped the hot water on at some point in the morning. And I get a phone call about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, just hysterical. My ceiling is falling in. The house is like a sauna. It was it's just a cat, just a normal house cat, flipped on that water and caused
E
a lot
e
of damage.
everybody was okay?
Everybody's fine. I mean,
Okay, good.
it's
Then
they
I
they have
can
they
then
got
I
a
could
new
say
ceiling, they got a new kitchen, they got a
good.
new a lot of things, but they were displaced for a while as we had to put things back together.
I'm glad everybody's okay, which gives me a chance to do my PSA announcement of that's why dogs are better.
Exactly.
So, the dog
Zero
would
dog
bark.
jobs so
The
far this year.
the
One
dog
cat.
would bark at somebody if
Yeah,
water was coming down, so,
that's right.
uh, yeah, I can't imagine I've left something going on the stove. It didn't turn
Yeah.
out to be anything bad, but we've all left home and gotten that feeling like, "Man, I swear I left something on, but I don't know what it was."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the things with your job, the best thing you do, I believe, is just talk with the homeowner when they're watching either flooding or fire and just talking them through, okay, here's what's going to happen. Here's what we're going to do for you. We've got a place we'll find. Hopefully I'm not making stuff up. We're going to help you find a place to stay tonight so that so that's not a problem. And then you talk things through because that some of those you've been to are truly life-changing experiences.
They are, and it's a traumatic experience. I mean, it's not. I say this all the time. You don't ever plan on having a fire or a
Mm,
flood or whatever it is that's happened. Um, so it catches you off guard, and you've got all these. The first one is this puts everything in perspective, especially a fire job. You walk into a house and you see these, you know, 85-inch TVs and these leather sofas, and everything's ruined. Those are all replaceable,
mm,
and it's the photo albums. You walk into a kid's room and they had a collage where they had like I don't know where they found a Polaroid camera, but they got had a little Polaroid
yeah,
collage, and there are companies out there that can try to restore those, but by and large, it's lost, and so it's sad, because it's takes a toll and it's emotionally draining. So we try to come in and do everything we can do to make it better, and I think an important part of that is yeah, we've seen some terrible things and we see it every day, but this is the first time a homeowner's seen it or a
mhm,
business owner's seen it. And so kind of walking them through the process, it's kind of like what to expect when you're expecting thing. Like we have a whole sheet where this is what you can expect from your insurance company.
mm,
This is how your insurance company is going to pay you. This is how things go. It's first we have to come in, we have got to get everything cleaned up. The second part is the repair. Two separate parts. So, it's not one job, it's two separate things. And again, for the bigger ones, people are going to have to leave their house. And we can help their insurance company with finding places. We're pretty well plugged in. We've been doing it long enough that we know a lot of people.
mm,
So we're able to help out with that. But really, it's over communicating. Like, hey, this is what you can expect. This is where you're going to be at for the next, 6 months. And being really transparent and really open about how things are going to go. Because the first part's awesome, right? Like not awesome for them, but we're awesome. We come in, we clean everything up. It happens fast. Like we're there, like with it out, right? What I mean, you're the knight in shining armor right in there to save everything, and that's all cleaned up. Now it becomes a part where, hey, okay, we have to rebuild it, and that's all the things. That's now we need you to make some selections. What kind of backsplash do you want? What kind of granite do you want? What color
mm.
paint? And that's where things slow down a little bit. And so in that process, being the people that you can reach out to. We're here for you. We're meeting with the homeowners, we're business owners, and letting them know where we are in those steps of that process. setting realistic expectations, and then following through with those.
Yeah, because I think sometimes you're more of a counselor than a restoration company.
Absolutely, there's definitely a
Yeah,
therapist like
yeah,
portion of this job, because like I said, when someone's calling you, they don't know where to start, right?
yep,
There's like I said, when we first starting, now we know where your water shutoff is. Most people do not know
mm,
where their water shutoff is. So I mean, if it's something like a toilet supply line that's broken off the back, that happens all the time. They fail, they pop off. There's water everywhere. If you've never turned that little knob to turn off the water in the back of your toilet,
yep,
someone has to tell you to do that.
yep,
So it's a lot of it is just helping them navigate that whole system. And
yep,
it can be daunting, but I think that's why we've done well is we excel in that area.
yep. Well, good. No, I'm glad because at that point in time, they need somebody who's been through this before and
Yeah.
professionals like
Yes.
you guys are. So your background was marketing, sales,
Yep,
all that good stuff. You went to Campbell University,
I did.
and your plan at that ripe old age of 18 was what?
Well, let me tell you. So I started at NC State University, and I had so much fun at NC State that I went to Wake Tech, and then I went to Campbell. So I got the full. I took really good use of those college
Yeah.
years. I got the full experience. Just dragged that out a
Mm.
little long, but yeah, yeah. My degree is in public relations, which I don't know that other than a brief internship, I don't know that I've ever been in actual public relations, but um, the classes I took there, Campbell's a good school.
Mm.
It's out there, man. There's no distractions. If you need to go get away and really focus, Bowie's Creek is a good place for that.
During those fun times at NC State, I'm sure you had a couple of good conversations with mom and dad.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. That was we're not funding a party
Nope.
conversations. Yeah, we
Nope.
had one of those. A
And
couple of those.
did you go to Wake Tech on your own dime?
Yeah, by the time I got to Wake Tech, that was they had enough of me. So that was
How long did you go to Wake Tech before you realized, okay, I need to straighten up here?
well, so I went to Wake Tech. I was there for about a year to get my associates, and then once you have your associates, you can generally kind of do whatever. And
Mm.
Campbell was just a good fit. Just it was like I said, I had a good idea what I wanted to do. At least in the marketing communications. It's a little bit smaller school. They were really well plugged into the community, so I wanted to. I was at a point where all my friends had graduated from college, and I was the last one, so I was ready to grow up, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Some
And
saying that one
we
of
all
these days.
yeah, and we all learn on our own time frame.
That's true.
We
Everyone has their own path.
yep.
We're older now. We've got friends that have children, and some of them go and they do the 4 years and they knock it out, and then
Mhm.
sometimes they take a year off here and there. But they're all everybody finds their own way. It's
Yeah.
I try not to stress about it too much. I've got three boys. My oldest is at NC State. He's already far surpassed my my days there, so he's doing fine. And I've got my two younger ones, but they're all different, but they're all going to be just fine. Good kids.
And then with family members comes decisions when you have a situation like that because as a parent, you don't want to let your kids know exactly what you did there. So you can
No.
phrase it, well, just decided or this, whatever. And then there's always that one family member that pulls one of your kids aside. Yeah, let me tell you about your dad in college.
It's funny because it's like they forget that you were their age at one point.
Yeah.
And so I can't tell you how many times I've busted one of them for something they were going to do.
Yep.
Like, man, I did that. I did that in
Yep.
1985. Like, I've already done that. Yeah, I got the goods on you.
Yeah. My oldest son, there was only one kid we banned him from seeing.
Uh,
And this was we're living in Daytona Beach, and he had gone to this kid's house, and the cop showed up. My son was not involved. I believe that. I truly don't believe he was, but he wasn't involved in anything. And so we had that conversation when he got home, and over the next couple of days, is like, so, what were your thoughts and plans when you saw the cops show up? You know,
uh,
yeah, you said exactly. So let's rethink who we're hanging out with. But you're right. You have those moments like I can tell you what they're about to happen because you don't want to be there next time when they load everybody up in the paddy wagon and they don't care if you did anything or not.
that's an important conversation too.
Yep.
Is you are who you hang out with. Like
Yep.
you are who your friends are. I heard that recently. Scott Walton is the head basketball coach at Carey High, and I heard him say that recently. He had a kid on the team that had gotten into some trouble at school, and he was like, "It wasn't really me; it was the people I was with." And he said, "You are who you hang out with, and
Yep.
that's who you are." So we've had that discussion a number of times.
Yep. I agree. So your ties go deep to Cary High School.
Yeah.
Me being a Millbrook guy, you guys, sports wise, I played tennis and ran track, so I didn't never wrestled, thankfully. But you
Did you
guys,
have a wooden racket, Mike?
oh God, yes, yeah, thank you. And there was actually strings, not twine, back in the day when I was playing tennis. Yeah, but Carrie was very good in track, very good in tennis back in the late '70s. You guys have owned wrestling, I think, since the sport was invented, right?
Yeah, that's it's a big deal at Cary. I
Yep.
can't remember 18 state championships, something. I'm butchering it, I'm sure, but yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's
sure
big.
if I told the story, I bet 12 of them were
Yeah.
consecutive. Yeah, he's
I mean, it's something. It's an incredible run. Coach Winterton was there for years and years, and I mean, his legacy is still there. I think he's still around the program. It's certainly it runs deep in Cary for sure.
yeah, yeah, which is fun to watch. I know that.
Mhm.
So one of the neat things about this job is I get to do research on my guests, which is a
Okay.
lot of fun for me because I always find the nuggets on page 3 of Google.
Okay.
Page 1 is LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. Your company bio, blah, blah, blah. I don't need that. I got that. Let me find something, right?
Uh-huh.
So in 2013, you were
Okay.
a Town of Cary Hometown Spirit Award finalist.
Yes.
What did you do to become a finalist? But more importantly, why didn't you win?
Okay. So this is like I'm a competitive person, so I do not like to lose. Like I'm competitive. But in this one instance, like it was my loss was inevitable. So we I volunteer for a lot of things in the town. I believe strongly in giving back. I think to be a good influence on my children. I think also it's important to help your community out. You can't just take, you got to give. So I serve as chair for the Parks Rec and Cultural Resource Advisory Board for the town of Cary. I coach basketball in a lot of different organizations. I announced for the Miracle League of the Triangle. And so it was through like just volunteer things that I got nominated. But I got nominated. I was all excited, and I'm looking at all the fellow nominees, and then one of them is a guy named Jerry Miller. I don't know if you know who Jerry Miller is, but he is the person who founded Lazy Days. Like he designed the town seal for the town of Cary. And I'm like, I thought this award was named after Jerry Miller. Like I don't even know how I'm sitting with this guy. So anyway, I got to go have a nice dinner, and it was zero stress because I knew there was no way I was winning that award.
So
So
2013 would have made you what, late 20s, right?
no, no.
Didn't you say how old are you?
I'm 48.
Oh, I thought you said 38. My bad. I truly
I'm glad
wasn't.
I'll go with 38.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
let's put it out there. We don't
So
have to air any of this 48 business.
yeah, be 48. I don't remember when
Cut
I
it
was.
out. I'm 38.
So that was 14 years ago. So that
Yeah.
was 2010. Yeah, we just moved back here. Yeah, that's how long
Yeah.
ago it was. I got to. Yeah, once you get a little bit older, you're like, all right, hang on a sec. Let me do
Well,
some
that's what, as soon as
math.
you said 2013, I was like, man, I hope I remember what he's going to say.
You talked earlier about, or you mentioned earlier, you would part of the Miracle League of the Triangle. You were recognized by them. I guess significant contributions as an announcer.
Yeah, that's something that I kind of just fell backwards into. I had a good buddy I went to high school with, and he organizes all of the volunteering efforts for them. So he reached out one day and said, "Hey, I know you like to be loud and stupid. Would you want to come and be the announcer for a Miracle League game?" And I said, "Sure, I'll fill in." And I went out there and just fell in love with that community, with that organization, their mission. Um, for anybody looking for volunteer opportunities, I'm telling you, it's it's life changing. It will change the way that you look at your life, especially if you've got children. Get your children out there to volunteer. You won't leave the field feeling anything less than just amazing. The athletes they are dialed in. Like I announced on Thursday evenings, it says that these are adult athletes. They almost all live in group homes, and so they look so forward to coming out there on Thursday night and playing baseball. And just being a small part of that is, I love it. I absolutely love it. The people that are out there on Thursday nights, the coaches, the buddies, the staff. I mean, they're all just salt of the earth, like just the
Nice.
best people.
Nice. And so the longer you've done this, you get to polish up on your one-liners and you save them
Oh,
for when they're needed.
I'm the corniest old man that's ever pointed up on mic. Like I just, the whole, you paid for the whole seat. You're only going to need the edge. Like I'm all in on every silly thing you've ever heard.
I like that. I like that. So one of my favorite questions asked people on the show that are married. Your wife's name is Ashley.
Yes.
Two questions. How
Okay.
did you guys meet, and do you both tell the story the same way?
We would both tell the story the same way, because I'm not afraid to talk about how dumb I am. So we met. We both went to Cary High School. She's a little older than me. She was a cheerleader. She played tennis. Like, would not have given me the time of day in high school. But we bumped into each other at a party in Chapel Hill, and we were chit chatting. And I'm talking to her, and I thought I was being smooth. I know in hindsight that I wasn't. But we had the PJ out there, which I don't know if people are familiar with. Kids do that anymore, but a, we shouldn't go this. Anyway, we were using Freezy Pops to cool down the PJ, and so I was eating a Freezy Pop, and it was kind of melted. I'm talking to her, and this thing just all straightforward. It's full of blue juice. Just got over her shirt, her shorts, her shoes.
Ooh.
And so I just kept apologizing. I was like, I can't believe I spilled this on the prettiest girl here. So I don't know. Maybe I need to thank the PJ in this situation. But
Nice
that's
save.
how it all started. We started dating, and we've been married for over 20 years now. It'll be 21 years this summer.
And where was the official first date?
It's a good question. This is embarrassing. I think it's Olive Garden, which again goes to how unsmooth I am. I
Yeah.
took her to Olive Garden. My God.
Well, it turns out the more you and I hang out, the more we have in common because
Yeah.
I never had any game, and my wife and I, our first date would back in the day, tell you how long we've been married, TGI Fridays.
There you go. There you go. I ordered a bottle of wine. I had a screw off top.
Only
She
because
knew she was in for class act.
yeah, only because the box wasn't available, right?
Yeah. I was like the cheapest one.
So you remembered her from high school, though, at the party, right? You guys knew
Yes.
each other.
Yeah.
All right. And she was no doubt between steadies and thought, what the heck? I'll just talk to this guy. Got her story,
She
right?
started. She's gonna slum it a little bit with
Yep.
somebody. So yeah.
Yep.
And then I just latched onto her. She hasn't gotten rid of me since.
I like the spilling on her. That's a bold move. I think it's kind of new.
Am I giving people the best idea ever?
It prolonged the conversation, and it was memorable.
And here I am, 30 years later, cleaning up a spill still. So there you go.
That was the biggest payoff you've ever had. You're getting paid to do these, but that was the best payday you ever had.
Absolutely. That's the best disaster I've ever been a part of.
Yep. So 3 boys. Have any of them ever seen you without a beard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I shave it off from time to time, not frequently. My wife likes it, so I keep it.
Yeah, because we have 3 grandkids, and Oliver's the oldest. He'll be 6 in July. Granted, he's only 6, so it's not that big of a deal, but he's never seen his dad without a beard. And we laugh about it one day because both of my boys have beards, that one day when they do shave, will their kids freak out about that?
Right. My youngest, I remember shaving it with him and him just being a little apprehensive about, this guy with no chin in his living room, and it was me.
He was standing real close to Mom when he was sizing you up, wasn't he?
He usually is anyway.
So who's more of the 3 boys? Who's more like who?
Our oldest is a good mix of both of us. He's kind of the quintessential first child. Like he just, kind of has it all figured out. We didn't really have to check behind him too much. My middle son is me. That is, when you're growing up and your mom and dad are like, someday you're gonna have a kid just like you,
Mhm,
like, but they don't mean it in a good way.
mhm.
Like that's my middle son. Like he is awesome. He is hilarious. Like he is independent, but all the same dumb things I did, he does them all. And so it's good. Like I said, I know what he's gonna do before he does it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always stop him from doing those
But
things.
that
So,
but my guess is, though, you 2 enjoy the day.
oh yeah,
You're not planning on Friday yet. You're like, "Hey, see that puddle in the middle of the street?"
oh yeah.
Yeah.
All day, and he's the most just he is the most pure, like, heart on his sleeve, just a good kid. And then our youngest, man, the 3rd kid is just they're a survivor. He's probably the most like my wife, um, but, like, just super resourceful. I remember him being, like, 4 or 5 years old and walking into the living room with a bowl of cereal, and, I was like, "Oh, who got you that cereal?" And he'd done it himself. And, of course, you walk in the kitchen and, the cereal and the milk are still sitting on the ground because he had to put it on the ground to dump it in the bowl. But, like, the other 2 boys they would just starve to death on the couch with a full refrigerator. But this
Ah.
guy, he's like, "Well, I'm hungry. I'm gonna make myself." And he's still the same way. Just he needs something. He takes care of it.
He walked in there rather proud of himself.
He was very proud of it. That was the biggest bowl of Fruit Loops you've ever seen. Like just
He enjoyed
skilling up.
every bite,
Yep.
and he probably thought, "Where is the biggest bowl?"
Oh yeah, for sure. That's all 3 of them still. They'll still dog out some cereal.
Oh, I bet your food bill was healthy.
Oh yeah, when my oldest went to college, it was we're like, where did we get? There was no. I mean, it's college, so we were getting hit somewhere else. But our food bill definitely went down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden, you got money. "Hey, honey, you and I can go out to dinner now."
I'm like, why do we have so much extra chicken? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, how do your boys obviously, your old take how old's the middle one?
He's 16,
Alright, and the youngest one is?
12.
Alright. So how does your 12-year-old explain to his friends what you do?
I he says that we clean up messes, which
Okay.
I really think all 3 of them would say the same thing.
Alright.
Anything they're pretty well versed, and I'm our marketing guy, so I've got all kinds of swag sitting around the house and collateral, so they almost can't escape it. They
Yeah.
could probably tell you what I do better than I can say.
Yeah, because it's always funny when you have friends, in a non-traditional name job like lawyers or doctor.
Right.
Those are, car salesmen, those are kinda easy, but you get into the restoration world, it's like, "Alright, so how do kids explain that?" Especially the younger ones, I bet. But cleaning up messes, that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, and we stay active in the community. We are sponsors at Cary High and at Fuquay High School, so we're out there all the time. So we drive wrap vehicles, so they see them
Yep.
there. So yeah, they have a pretty good idea. I think most people know what restoration is. The one thing that happens from time to time, and it's always at gas stations, is someone will come up to me and start talking about how they have an old piece of furniture or an old rocking chair, and I have to say, no, we don't. It's not that kind of
Yeah.
restoration. It's not, or renovations. People are like,
Yeah.
hey, we want you to do our bathroom, and they're like, no, you don't.
Well,
want us to do
you'll
it.
you'll
We're in
we
your bathroom is because things have gone very wrong.
I was gonna
So,
say, "We can help you, but you'll have to flood it first."
yeah.
One of the other gems I came across, was you have a nickname of Butterscotch Stallion?
Yes.
Do tell.
I mean, look at me.
Yep,
Isn't it obvious? Yeah.
yep. Now, you know the rule, dude. You can't give yourself a nickname, so tell me you did not give yourself that nickname.
So the butterscotch, there's an actor in Hollywood, Owen Wilson, and that's
Yep.
his nickname.
Oh,
So we were
really?
joking about it one day, and it was an inside joke that somehow slipped out to everybody else. But probably to no one's surprise, no one really calls me that. But I like in my head, I like to imagine that people are like, "Oh, you mean butterscotch stallion?"
I
It's me.
did not
But everybody knows.
know yeah, I did not know that that was his nickname.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
funny, yeah.
it's not fitting. That's probably why.
Okay, but that makes it even better. It's like
Yeah.
the 400-pound biker they call Tiny.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always one of my favorites. Like,
Slim. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So if there's a celebrity's house that you have to go in and clean up and redo, whose house are we going to?
Oh, Charlie Sheen seems like a good. I bet you that guy's had a couple accidents there.
I didn't
And
ask
I
for the
also
one
think that
most
would be a
I didn't ask for one most likely to ruin his house. Like, which one do you
oh,
whose house do you wanna go do?
whose house do I want to get to? Oh man.
Yeah.
Um, I get myself in trouble here. I'll say Jamie Presley.
Nice.
She's a Kinston girl. So
Oh,
get down to
really?
Kinston, check out whatever's got going down there, get some barbecue,
Alright.
got the new sports shop, spend some money. Yeah,
Yeah, man, and the barbecue thing is real. You try to explain to people not from North Carolina.
they don't get it.
No, man,
They don't get it.
I mean, you get picky, and I gotta have my hush puppies,
Okay.
and so I grew up here and went school at Tennessee. My first job out of college was at the University of Texas, and I thought, "Great, never been there, perfect. I'm 21, perfect time to go somewhere I've never been, get to Austin, Texas, fall in love with the city, met my wife there." But on the second day I was working there in the athletic department, they said, "Hey, we're going for barbecue." I'm like, "Sweet." And we got there, I'm like, "This ain't barbecue."
There's nothing, and we live in a great town. We live in a great um, great state that people want to be here, so they're moving here from
Oh, yeah.
everywhere else,
Yep.
which is a good thing. That's a great thing. I am not one of those
Yep.
people that are unhappy with that situation. But man, when they show up and say, "Do you want to come over to my house for barbecue?" That it is a noun, not a verb.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
it is
you.
there needs to be a whole hog being
Yep.
cooked over wood or coals, and it needs to be chopped. And
Yep.
we're Eastern North Carolina folks, so it's gonna have vinegar.
Yep.
I know the Western part you have to throw some ketchup on there, which is whatever.
Mm.
We'll let them have their thing.
Yep.
But you go over there and they've got some hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yep.
I can't recover. That's like we were talking earlier. It's like getting an unsweet tea from
Yep.
Bojangles. Like I can't recover. I can't bounce back from it.
My wife likes those, Reno shows on the weekend, right? So we're on
Uh,
HGTV, and some of them are actually pretty good. Others, I can tune those out, but they were showing a house to a young couple, and they're talking about the back deck they're gonna build, and, you can barbecue out here, and I said the same thing to my wife. It's a noun, not a verb. Get it right. Of course, they're somewhere in Canada. I have no idea where
right,
they
right.
were, but it's like, it is not a verb.
Yeah, well, and I get you go
Grill.
everywhere,
Yep.
you travel around the United States, it's different everywhere.
Yep.
But we're right.
Yes, and we're right about vinegar. Yeah, I know. I know. So marketing to restoration, you think you're gonna stick with this for a while?
I hope so, as
Alright.
long as they'll have me. It's like I said, it's an interesting job. I don't Business development sales it was never anything that was of interest to me at
Mm,
all. Um, but this is, I'm not selling a thing. It's a service, and it's something that when you need it, you need it. And so I'm happy that people think about me as someone that can come and help them out. And PRS it's a good company. Like, it's we have a great team here. It makes my job easy. I
yep,
don't worry. My mouth is never writing checks that PRS can't cash. Like it's we'll
yep,
come in and take care of things.
and your role is more keep this in your Rolodex or put this on your fridge for the
Yeah,
one time you do need it, because we may know a mechanic, we may know a landscaper, we probably know a doctor, but I don't think many people know restoration companies.
they
So to be
don't.
able to have a number from, "Oh, yeah, my next door neighbor gave us this, we'll put it on the fridge. Ha, 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 we'll never need it, or hopefully we won't, and then one day they do." It's good to have.
It really is, and it's we're part of what we do. We're part of the work
Yep.
that we've done, and there's more. We're not the only company that does this. There's other companies out there, but we always say go. Do research. Make sure you look up Google reviews. Make sure you talk to other people. But usually, it's time is of the essence, and so if you know someone that can get out there immediately, it's good to have that number. And we're legit 24/7. I mean, I know lots of people say we work 24/7. We are for real
Yep.
24/7. Like you call it 2 in the morning, a person answers the phone. Because you're not calling us to say hello
Mm,
or not exchange pleasantries. You're calling it 2 in the morning because something has gone very
yep.
wrong.
And,
And it's everything from a home to, I
yeah,
mean, businesses too. We do a lot of commercial stuff. When a business floods, it's a big deal. There's a
yep,
fire. We've got to get them back up and running because it's caught every day they're not open is costing them money.
mm,
So having that sense of urgency and again just the experience to know how to come in there and get things moving quickly is a big deal.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said 24/7 because going back to the weekend watching TV with my wife, there's this commercial up there. I was so anyways, I forgot who it was for, but they said, "We're 24/7, 365." And I turned to my wife and said, "I think that's what 24/7 means."
Yeah, yeah, that's really just about. Then you got to worry about doing a rebranding for leap year. So just 24/7.
Because if you're not 24/7, then you should say, "We're every day except Christmas and Thanksgiving."
Yeah.
Right? But you don't need to say 365 after 24/7. Drives me
And let me
nuts
tell you,
when I hear that.
Christmas and Thanksgiving are generally busy times for us.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Someone's going to try a fried turkey in their garage, Mike. I promise you, every year.
Oh,
And
and by the way, that is the first one I had was probably not till like 2002.
uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
It's the
That
best,
was
right?
so good.
I do one every year, and I feel so bad because we get my whole family gets together and we host at our house. And my mom is very traditional. She has to cook a turkey, and it
Yep.
takes I don't know, month.
Yep.
It takes forever,
It does.
and she's got the stuffing and all
Mhm.
the stuff. And then I'm out there having a few drinks, dropping a turkey into oil, like barely putting forth effort, and it comes out. And I mean, the fried turkey is always the best. Like it's
Oh,
the
it just falls off.
yeah,
First time I ate is like, I'm doing, yeah. I was
yeah,
like, is our next door neighbor knew how to do it. Same thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Exact same way. And man, first time I had that, I needed more of that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
good
send
stuff.
out one of the newsletter that goes out from us every year at Thanksgiving has an entire section of if you're gonna fry a turkey, do it outside.
Yeah.
For the love of God, make sure that it's defrosted, dry it,
Yeah.
check the oil level.
Yeah.
All these things that you would think are common sense are not common sense.
Yeah. You don't want to have to pay 10 grand for a turkey.
No, no, that's a good deal. You burn down your garage, it's gonna be yeah.
All right, so we've been putting Brent's phone number up here, folks. Even if you have a question, give them a call.
Yeah,
They'll help you with that, but you need to know somebody when that emergency happens. Brent, it's you have one of those jobs where you hope nothing happens. You don't ever cheer anything on, hope nothing happens, but you're glad you're there when people need you.
truly, and that's the kind of the crux of what we do is that we don't wish ill on anybody. But no matter what you do, no matter what safeguards you take,
Yeah.
something's going to happen. Like at some point in your life, as a homeowner or a business owner, you're going to experience a fire. You're going to experience a water loss. A storm's going to come through and you damage your roof, and water's going to get in. Like it just happens, and so it's good. I like that we can be there for people when they need us.
Very nice. All right, folks, keep their number handy. Brent, good luck with the chapter and good luck
Thank
with
you.
business. We appreciate you being on the show today. And we will see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.